It is really easy when you're in a challenging season for that to just somehow define the entirety of your relationship.
How do we nurture relationships in the midst of a hard season? Because I feel like every child, we go through a hard season. Sometimes it's when they're 2 or 3. Sometimes it's when they're 16. And that can kind of shake a parent, right? And so you've got your kids from, I think you said your youngest is 8, right?
Yes.
So from 8 to 18, certainly, as we have in our family, certainly you've had some times in there where you've just been in a hard season with a particular child. What have you done to nurture relationships with those kids during those hard times?
It is really easy when you're in a challenging season for that to just somehow define the entirety of your relationship with your kid. And if it's a real challenging, like interpersonal challenge, not just academic challenge, that can be a really negative space to be in. And so there are a couple things that I have done that have brought some joy and peace and relationship strengthening in the midst of those hard times. One is to remember the way that God loves us, which is while we were his enemies, he sent Jesus to die for us. And so just that reminder that that's how we can love our children. We don't have to wait until they deserve to have a fun time with mom, to give them a fun time with mom. There have been times and seasons when there has been a child, things have been really hard, and I have chosen to do a chore for that child. Something I was like, this is a tangible way I can show them that I love them apart from the way they're treating me. Now, I'm not saying, enabling them and like never making them do their chores, but I mean like out of the blue, something that they didn't deserve, but was a tangible way to show love. Another thing I did most recently with my oldest, when he was in the midst of a lot of really stressful, like college, what's going to happen with my life kind of decisions, it felt like all of our parent-child interactions at that point, or parent-teen, I guess, were kind of about this like stressful, big decisions. And so I decided, hey, can we put this time on the calendar and let's just go for a walk together? And before we walk, I want you to know the rules for this conversation. You can talk to me about whatever you want to talk about, but mom is not allowed to ask you a single question about anything related to school or your future life. I just want you to know that this is just like, I love you and I want to be with you. And that was like, I could just see this like, not, okay, what's mom going to ask me next? But it was like, oh, okay, right. We can just be together. That, I think if you can find ways to just disassociate the challenge sometimes just from, hey, I love you, I just want to be with you, that can be really helpful. And then one last quick practical thing is sometimes you have that kid who's the real easy kid. And so you're so busy problem solving with all these other people that you don't really pay attention to that kid because they're just doing what they're supposed to be doing. Be careful with that. Make sure you're purposeful, even if it's like, hey, you want to come with me to the grocery store? Hey, can you come and run this errand with me? I have a child who is definitely that kid, real easy to parent, easy to homeschool. And I'm trying to be very aware that I spend as much time with her as I do with some of the more challenging people.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked Podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.